Well, say hello to your number 1 seed, Buffalo Bandits, taking back the 1 seed where it truly, truly belongs. Welcome back to another recap episode of Banditland Boulevard, too. My name's Trevor. That's Tony. That's Dan. He's been on the show before, and he's coming back on to recap the major victory for the Buffalo Bandits over the Halifax Thunderbirds, formerly the original Rochester Nighthawks, 15-12. Need I say less? I mean, the Bandits get the number 1 overall seed. They get home field advantage throughout the entire playoff.
Let's go.
Things are looking good, fellas. Things are looking good.
Danny, go for it.
Love to see it. I was just saying before, steps in the right direction. We were on a little bit of a skid, but it's nice to see him put up 15. It's nice to see him win at home, for God's sake. But job's not done. Let's not lose sight of that either. So.
Right.
Yeah, and especially with the way how the beginning felt, it looked like nobody wanted to score that first goal right off the gate. And finally, Buffalo said, okay, enough's enough. We're not going to let you guys have the momentum shift in our house. So kudos to Buffalo for really stepping up first and setting the tone. So good for them.
Yeah, man, it really felt like we were going to get one of those classic low-scoring games with the Buffalo Bandits towards the end of the season.
Oh, no, sir, but it was close how we were.
Man, if you were to tell me that it was going to be a 15-12 game after the Bandits scored their first goal until like the 11-minute mark of the first quarter.
I believe you're right.
You know, sometimes all it takes is that one to go in, and then the floodgates just start to open up after that, and the Bandits really didn't look back. I mean, there were some runs back and forth between the two teams. I know the Bandits took a 4-1 lead in this one, ended up being 6-6 tie at halftime. But then the Bandits, I mean, what we've been saying all along, you can't go a quarter without getting shut out. You got to play a full 60. It felt like the Bandits played a full 60. That's back-to-back weeks where they scored 15 goals. That's 30 goals in the last 2 games. The Bandits are starting to heat up, and I credit it a lot to Johnny T not really changing a lot, just trying to perfect the things that weren't really working before. And when you're not making those drastic changes, sometimes that's all you need. And sometimes it's just the calendar switch from March over to April. We've seen this over the past, but man, huge win over Halifax. I know Mike Accursi's a very good head coach. He's a tough guy to face against. Seems like the Halifax Thunderbirds play their best lacrosse against the Bandits. So when the Bandits get a big win against them, it feels like it's worth more than one victory. And in this case, it kind of is because it locks up the number 1 seed for the Bandits.
Danny, go ahead.
For sure. Yeah. Halifax, they beat you and they beat you bad. And when they do beat you, they have a successful transition game. That's something I noticed as well Saturday night. They scored no clear-cut, evident transition goals whatsoever. And we actually got 2 or 3 in our own right. So that was massive all in itself. Randy Stotts is somebody I put in a category of his own. He's going to we've talked about it before with the Schreibers and the Teats and things like that, but he's one of those guys that you just have to limit him. And we had 2 guys that matched his goal totals for the game. So right then and there, you got somebody in his back pocket. You got them matching his performance. Vino doing Vino things, right? 50 plus 51 saves, whatever it ended up being, and stout as hell down the stretch. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, we also saw the explosion of Dawson Theed. He had a pretty good night for the Halifax Thunderbirds too. He was definitely overdue. I mean, my number 1 player to watch going into this one was Cody Jamieson. I mean, he is a bona fide bandit killer, and the Bandits have been burned by him in the past a bunch, especially, I mean, even in the years where the Bandits were running with Anthony Cosmo in goal, he'd always find the back of the net. The Bandits did a good job at limiting him, but at what cost? To let guys like Pedersen get open, Theed get open, Robinson was scoring. It was a classic back and forth game. Happy that the Bandits are on the other side of this one, and it's going to bring up a lot of questions going into the Georgia game, whether or not we're going to be resting starters or who's going to be sitting, who on the practice squad is going to be getting called up for Saturday. But happy that they avenged their past defeats in front of a sold-out KeyBank Center, because we've seen 19,070. A lot of times those games don't really go on the winning side of things for the Bandits. I go back to the Calgary game, the Vancouver game. Obviously, the home opener was a sellout, and the Bandits won that one. But it's good to take back what is yours, and what is yours is Banditland.
Yeah, secondary scoring. That's basically what has been the key factor for the Buffalo Bandits this season, is because how good Scanlon stepped up. Buchanan stepped up. Fraser at times. Look at the breakaway goal that Cam Wires, because not only is he a speedy defenseman, but he can score too. It's so good to have a full team that you can rely on every player on that roster to do their job. And that's exactly what Johnny T has mixed up and served us to a nice hot platter, if you want to say, about the Buffalo Bandits. But I'm very proud of these guys right now, how good they have come back from after a two-streak loss.
What about, need I say more, the primary assist from Ron John? I thought that was a fantastic goal. Right,
yes.
to Captain Steve Priolo at the top of the crease. That was a great goal. Everyone was getting a piece of that pie. I mean, Kyle Buchanan has, what is he, 36 years old, has now a career high in goals for himself. So he passed the milestone for him. Ian McKay passed that goal-scoring milestone 2 weeks ago, and he's continuing to score. So you're getting a lot of these secondary guys scoring. It seems like with Chris Kluche being out, it really doesn't seem to be that big of a deal when you got Clay Scanlon there out the front door too. And that dude has been phenomenal every game that he's been playing. And Tony and I, Dan, we say it a lot on the show. Since he was sent back down to the practice squad, the Bandits went 4-4 on that run. He gets called back up, and the Bandits are now 2-0 since he's been back in the lineup. So he might be your safety valve. I don't know, but he's a great guy to have going into the playoffs. I can tell you that. Secondary scoring, second to none. I mean, this team has proven time and time again, you don't need to rely on 92 and 22 to make every single play. And that is what is going to make this Buffalo Bandits team so dangerous going into the first round of the playoffs.
Another one too, Clay. So Clay Scanlon, I call him Bucky 2.0 in my friend group, because he finds those little dirty areas. He still is fumbling around for loose balls when 3/4 of the field is running for a change or whatever it is, and he's still in the corner in the waning seconds of the shot clock, still fighting for a loose ball, right?
Yep.
He's one of those guys that slips through the cracks. Again, like you said, they put emphasis on 92 and 22, and this year really 4, because again, he's been lighting it up like nobody's business. But then another player too is Kyle Matisse. When we traded for him, I was absolutely ecstatic, because he's a big body and he reminds me a lot of a very healthy Brandon Robinson. Big dude, clears the lane, and it's crazy to me too, because he scored. Matisse scored in his debut with us. You really haven't seen him play too much since, right?
Yep.
But if you watch him on defense, it's like he's been playing with us for the last 10 years, and then kicking the ball out into transition. He has been a very, very welcomed addition as well,
without a doubt. And I can't say enough good things about 33 either. I mean, just the breakout and the transition from a guy like Ron John, who you didn't know really what his role was going to be on this Bandits team, if he was going to play more out of the back door or if he's going to take shots on offense. He's been getting his opportunities on the breakout for the transition. I think that's where he thrives the most. And it's also kind of cool being in section 106, and I think his family sits around in 105. I see all the 33 jerseys sitting right around near my section, which is pretty cool. Grew up in Angola. I think he probably, assuming he grew up as a Bandits fan, it's got to be a full circle moment for him. Going into the playoffs as a first overall seed, the depth on this team is second to none. This team proves that Steve Dietrich is a machine in the GM room. I mean, this guy makes all the right moves. He makes all these moves for a reason. And when you see him, I think it was the Steve Priolo goal to tie the game up in the fourth quarter and really send that game into the Bandits' favor. It was funny because it was Steve Priolo from Ron John and Kyle Matisse, the two new acquisitions from the trade deadline, giving the ball back to the captain to swing the game in the Bandits' favor. I know that Halifax did tie it up at 12, but you look at the goals from Ian McKay, Kyle Buchanan. Can we talk about the 14th goal, guys?
Sure.
Smith getting triple covered. He's getting triple covered. Somehow still has the ball in his stick. Finds when you're triple covered, you're going to have 3 other guys that are going to be open. Kyle Buchanan, the sneaky water bug that he is, somehow is wide open at the top of the crease. I mean, he just puts in the back of the net. The goalie had no prayer stopping that shot. No. I am so impressed with the way Dane Smith has turned his game around since the Vancouver game. He doesn't have to get you the double-digit points of the night, but when he makes plays like that, you're like, that's why 92 is the assistant captain. Like, maybe the passes weren't really clicking in the first half. It was kind of a team issue there in the first half, but they really started to click there in the second half, specifically the fourth quarter. And a play like that is what teams are going to be looking at. That's what teams are going to be afraid of going into round 1 of the playoffs.
I mean, especially with 2 top defenses looking like, okay, it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a low-scoring game. But with Dane Smith, putting double-digit assists on the map, oh, my God. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's like you can
Classic
put every defender on Dane and he'd still find a way to get to somebody. But the fact that he got to Kyle Buchanan, who was not the biggest guy out there, but he finds a way to score, and he scored over Hutchinson. I think maybe 3 goals over that left shoulder of his. Like, found that weakness in him. It was unreal. I swear to God, I'm going to stay consistent with my guy, number 91, because Kyle Buchanan is just absolutely sick. Teammate of the year, I'd say he's the unsung hero of the year in my eyes. So
I got that vote too. Yep, couldn't agree more.
I mean, come on.
Oh, he's an absolute weapon.
I was in the press conference after the game, and Dane Smith was asked about that play. He was like, in what world do you feed that ball? It ends up being a perfect pass. And like, where was your eye to see that little number 91?
And what did he say?
Doing jumping jacks. He didn't say anything. He laughed. He just had that cheesy smile on his face. He said, I got my hands free, and that was the extent of it, right? So it's incredible how humble he is on top of everything else.
That's crazy. But
you're going to find the vet in front of the net. I mean, you're going to find the veteran in front of the net who's been scoring a lot of the goals this year when some of the primary guys haven't been scoring. He's just going to make it happen. Dane Smith, 11 points, 10 goals or 10 assists, 1 goal. That is classic 92 right there. I mean, just so good. Kyle Buchanan with 4. I mean, nothing short of anything that we weren't really expecting going into a season like this. Kyle Buchanan's consistently scoring a hat trick per night, so to see him score 4, no surprise there. Ian McKay, I'm surprised took the amount of penalties that he did. I know Tony and I were doing jumping jacks on this show because the Bandits last week didn't take any sort of penalties.
Right.
They get the most convincing win probably in 2 months. Yep. And they, at least, the Bandits are taking penalties this week, but it really didn't affect the game in the long run. They still had a 3-goal victory. They're riding out comfortable. It wasn't one of those heart attack games where it comes down to a final possession in regulation. But it seemed like the penalty kill, special teams, okay, I guess. I thought the power play looks a lot better this week because I know they had
perfect 2 for 2.
They had the 2-man advantage there in the first quarter, and that was all that they were given, and they scored on both opportunities. First time ever I've really seen like a kneeing penalty being called in the NLL.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. I was like, I thought.
Well, the guy literally kicked him in the head.
I was watching it, and I'm like, did he just kick him? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I see the refs pointing at 2 different players. So I'm like, yeah, he must have done something like that. But power play's turning it around. I think the penalty kill for the most part. What did Halifax go? 2 for 3 on the power play?
Yep.
They were putting in some tough spots. I mean, the game was getting close. It was a lot of just back and forth action. You saw a lot of exhaustion there on the penalty kill. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but hey, what can you really complain about when you clinch the number 1 seed? Your primary guys are looking like primary guys. Secondary guys look great, and Matt Vince is playing out of his mind. So nothing really much to really complain about there. The number 1 seed is going back to where it belongs. I thought face-offs, honestly, I thought the Milkman was kind of doomed here. I think Jake Withers is the best in the game as far as face-offs are concerned. When I say top 1, that's where Jake Withers goes. So he was already given the short end of the stick there. I'm just happy that he won. What did he win? 10 face-offs out of 39 or something like that. 9. Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's 9 more than I would win against Jake Withers. So I'm not gonna dump all over Connor Farrell. He did the best that he could.
Right.
I thought, 2 convincing. Would you say this is a convincing win? I mean,
absolutely.
The runs,
I would say so. Yeah.
4-1 turns into 6-6, and then you have the 9-8 lead that turns into 11-10. I mean, it was back and forth, but you come out on the winning side. I think the Bandits a month ago, if that were the type of game that they were playing, they might end up on the losing side. So we are seeing they are kind of getting out of that mid-season funk. The March to May is officially on now. I mean, this is a team that Buffalo struggled against last year. They had an 8-2 lead on them in Halifax last year, ended up losing the game in regulation. I'm happy now that they held on to the victory, came up with a big W, and looking on to bigger and better things. We don't have a lot of time to dwell on this. We can celebrate the 1 seed. Of course we can. But
sure can.
I mean, it's on to Georgia, and then whoever we're playing first round. And if the season ended right now, the Bandits would be facing against the Georgia Swarm. It would be a rematch of the quarterfinals from last year.
Oh, overtime too. That was Josh Bird got the game winner.
Edge of your seat that game. Good Lord.
Oh God, I hated that.
And then 5 minutes of overtime. What was that? Over 5 minutes of overtime in that one.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
anybody, please, somebody score.
Yeah, right.
Reverting back to your point about Georgia, what do you do? Do you arrest him or do you not?
That's tough. I mean, I wouldn't mind letting the practice squad basically come on up and say, all right, guys, show us what you can do. Because God forbid if someone gets hurt on the main roster, you guys need to fill the shoes. So we need you to try something. So, and I did spoke with Chris CLINCHED in the Cobblestone, and he said he's ready to go. So I'm guaranteeing he's going to be back in the lineup this coming last game.
Yep.
So that'll be
have him play and probably have Trent Robinson play. I'm sorry, Trevor. Trent Robinson play.
You're good, dude.
And let Lucas play too.
Lucas Nielsen, yeah.
Yeah, have him, Dooley, and all them guys. Go for it. Let him play. I don't know about Vince, though. You know him. He wants to keep playing, but do you really want to have him get hurt in the very last week? And God forbid if he does before the first round of playoffs, I don't know if you take that risk. But this game technically is meaningless to us because we've already locked it up. It's already done. So maybe start Steve and play Evan after. I don't know.
My big thing is just making sure we stay sharp, right? We just talked about how we're kind of turning a corner from the skid we were on.
Sure.
It's that happy medium, right? You want to rest guys because you don't want to risk injury because you're obviously the size of the roster isn't as deep as some of the other professional sports, but you don't want to lose whatever you're sharpening thus far, right? And Vince is one of those guys that take it for what it is. He's 42 years old.
Yep.
Got to keep him. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. There's no dispute.
Oh, God, yeah.
But you got to keep him game ready because then first round of the playoffs rolls around and he only played one quarter against Georgia and then he feels like he's not ready and it's all mental and whatever it is. It's an interesting situation that Johnny T and company are in. I will say that.
I think that they're going to go with a little half and half. I think they're going to sit some guys.
I like that one.
Guys from the practice squad. I think Chris CLINCHED has to play if he's activated. Get his feet wet again. Get him back into game action before the round one of the playoffs. They're going to need him for the first round. Josh Byrne, that's a question mark. Dane Smith, that's a question mark too. I do think like Ian McKay, Chase Fraser, Teo Gananacook, I think they'll all play. When it comes to 92, 22, and 48, that's where it kind of gets a little fuzzy for me. I think Matt Vick should play at least a half. Have it be like week 16 of the NFL season where you maybe see Josh Allen for the first half and then whoever's the backup comes in for because I mean, honestly, the third and fourth quarter of that game, last game of the season, you already have a certain seed locked up. You don't want to risk him getting injured. Just as long as Vince gets playing time, keep him ready, keep him warm. And because you don't want him to go out ice cold in the first round of the quarterfinal. So Johnny T is in a little bit of a predicament here, but I'm also erring on the side of it doesn't matter who Georgia's going to throw out there, who Buffalo's going to be throwing out there. I think Buffalo has enough depth where they can sit a few guys and still come out with the win. So
I would see that too.
Really matter. I don't think there's a team that has stronger depth in the National Lacrosse League in general than the Buffalo Bandits. You can plug and play Scanlon any position you want. Ron John, any position. Ian McKay is the ultimate plug and play player. He can play defense, he can play transition, he can score on offense. That's why I think he does play. But the depth on this team has been phenomenal. I mean, even some of the games, even the game, you didn't even notice that Dylan Robinson wasn't even playing last night and that he was suspended. The defense was playing well. They were even scoring. Cam Wires on a B-way to seal the game, put the 1 seed on ice. So I think in general, this game is just going to be – it should be like a scrimmage attitude for the Bandits. See what you got. Just keep yourself – I think the theme of the game should be keep yourselves warm. Get yourselves warmed up before the first round of the playoffs. Get your reps in. Take some good shots on that because obviously Georgia's still playing for a playoff spot. Right. They don't want to lose. They have more to play for in this game than the Bandits do. They're just trying to keep that 8 seed, 7 seed. They're just if they win, they're in basically. So they should be more motivated. If the Bandits go out there and squash them, Georgia doesn't deserve to make the playoffs at all with half the Bandit starters sitting on the bench. But that brings up another question. With the 1 seed clinched, and then we can get into our player of the game. With the 1 seed clinched, who would you rather face in the first round? I mean, the realistic opportunities are probably Georgia, Calgary and Colorado. That's why and maybe San Diego. There's probably 4 good options there. Are there any teams that you guys don't want to face against? I got some teams on the radar that I'm like, best of 1, essentially a game 7. You got to bring it. Thank God Vancouver's hanging around 4 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Vancouver in the best 2 out of 3. Don't get me wrong. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
That's right.
But if it's a one and done deal, I don't know if I really want to see Vancouver. So I'm happy that if the season ended right now, Rochester would be playing against those guys. I would go with Georgia, Colorado, as much as I want to see some revenge on San Diego in our home barn. They play their best lacrosse in Banditland. I don't know if I want to see that if I want a three-peat.
Nope. My vote is also Georgia and Colorado. Calgary, I wrote it in one of my recaps. Their record is not indicative. Their offense is absolutely disgusting. Curtis Dixon is another guy that's playing like he's 20 years old again.
Jesse King looks like he's 18.
And Nick Rose. Say what you want about Buffalo lighting him up when he was in a Toronto Rock uniform. You put a Calgary Roughneck defense in front of him, and he's brand new, good as new. So I don't want to see them either.
Yep. No, I
Absolutely.
agree. What do you think, Tony?
Obviously, you know what I say? I just don't care. You know why? Because the attitude that we bring to the playoff hope and the three-peat to be amongst is that I don't care who comes to our yard. You're coming to us. This is our barn, dude. You're going to be – you think you're the cattle and you run this show? No, sorry. This is our house. You want to be a guest? You want to be treated like kings? You better treat the host like kings. That's all I can say about that. The Bandits are looking for that lovely three-peat. I guarantee you, boys, no matter who comes to the barn, we're going to take it home.
I was going to say they were kings a lot last year at home, but Georgia, if they had – man, they had a couple extra minutes in that overtime, we could have been looking at a completely different outcome. We could have been looking at probably the upset of the century in that game. Because, we went from – what, we have a 2-goal lead, and they took the lead late in the 4th, and the Bandits ended up tying it. Like, that game got way too close. That's why I'm saying, give me Colorado, give me the Swarm. I mean, I feel like the Bandits could handle those guys. Calgary, let somebody else face against them in the first round. San Diego, same thing. Even in San Diego's barn, they were playing us very, very well. And it was still a 1-goal game, but the Bandits were on the winning side of that one. So interesting implications. I'm glad that we're on this side now. I mean, I think it was around this time last year where they were just fighting for a playoff spot in general. And then they had to win, and then someone else had to win for the Bandits to get that home seed. So thankful that this is the way that it turned out, that they're starting to shake off some of the past rust that they were having there in March, and they're looking on to bigger and better things. This is probably the best part of our show, because you can pick out of a handful of players who would the player of the game be. When you see the Bandits light up the score sheet with 15 goals, you see multi-point nights out of a bunch of different players, a bunch of players scoring that you wouldn't really expect. Who's your player of the game?
Go for it, Danny.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a curveball for a minute. I'm going to give you a good friend of mine's player of the game who it would have been. It would have been Justin Martin. Simply,
that's right.
That was his boy.
Yep.
He's as stout as they come on defense. He's not the biggest dude in the world, but he bangs on defense.
Yep.
So, to get that right out of the way right now, that's guy. Right. It has to be Ian McKay. It has to be. I am his biggest fan. He is the Buffalo Army knife. He will burn you in transition.
I love the nickname. That's awesome.
I think Pat Gregoire calls him that. I'm not 100% sure, so he probably has it copyrighted, but I'm going to use it anyway.
Nice.
He'll burn you in transition, career high in goals, and then all the while, if you need him to drop back on defense, it's problem solved.
Yep.
Dude's right.
So good.
Baller.
I love it. Good choice, sir.
I'm going to steal Tony's player, Kyle Buchanan.
Damn you. I knew you were going to go with that.
Kyle Buchanan is my player of the game. Without a shadow. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves. He's on the opposite side of 30. He's still putting up these career numbers. He looks like he's playing like he's 26. Looks like he could come back for another year if he wanted to, maybe another 2 years, because he has no signs of slowing down. Kyle Buchanan, 100% player of the game. 4 goals, he's been the most consistent forward on this team probably since the middle of February. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cal Buchanan is the man, and he is my player of the game.
Oh, man, you stole the thunder away from me there, Trevor. That's okay. You know what? God bless him and praise for him because he's so good at lately, and I can't deny that. All right, well, I'm going to go on a limb, and I know the captain hasn't been really spoken for, but I mean, he looked like he scored that goal like he was Sean Evans out there, and I hate to bring that name up back in Banditland, but that guy could dive and score goals. But Steve Priolo, for his age, and he just made it look so fancy. I got to go with the captain, Steve Priolo, especially on that neat little trick goal, going over the right shoulder over Hutchinson, and he's finally mellowed down after having probably like one of the worst streaks of penalty games you could possibly fathom. And now that he's calm, he's becoming the leader that we wanted, and he got 3 points out of the night. So I can't be disappointed about that, but I'm glad that he's turning around at the right time.
I think
so
honorable mention, 42 years old, 51 saves.
Matty Vince.
Absolute. I mean, he looks like the ageless wonder. That was Johnny T's nickname from the longest time ago.
Sure is.
Matt Vince has kind of taken that over. I mean, he only given up 12 goals. I mean, this is no slouch team. Halifax is the 3rd seed in the playoffs right now. And the fact that Matt Vince is making these saves, good for him, man. I mean, I know a lot of the fans were like, oh, it's the way it's always been, over the shoulder. He's been making a lot of saves on the high side lately. I don't know what he's been drinking out of the water there in Banditland, but whatever he's drinking, it's whatever he's sipping on. It's working for him. He's been making more shoulder saves than I've ever seen him in his career.
Whole milk just to build the shoulders up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got Connor Farrell helping him out there in that department. He's got the milk going.
Yeah, both.
Man, that was
not to break any conversation, but there are 3 teams right now for 3, 4, and 5 that have 10 wins. That could be possibly a flip-flop in the playoffs.
What are we looking at?
And that is Rochester could have a chance to be number 3.
Yikes. They're hot.
Isn't that scary? They were on a 6-game win streak. Vancouver, after signing Del Bianco, 5-6-game win streak ever since they signed him. That is scary just to even say that. Damn. It's like he found his old Calgary roughneck. I'm going to beat you in the championship. Oh, God, just even saying that almost made me throw up.
Go back to 2 weeks ago.
I know, right? Yeah, let's not go that far, right, T?
Yeah.
Even if you go back to the game 2 weeks ago, that makes me want to throw up. Just watching. Because Del Bianco's been out of action for how long? And it looks like
he still comes back and he hasn't lost it.
He looks better than
the didn't miss a step coming into Banditland. And I mean, he's one of those players that thrives off the energy for the opposing team. So
agreed.
That takes skill to be able to do that.
Agreed.
So huge. 15-12. Bandits victors over the Thunderbirds. Hey, the 1 seed's locked up. We will worry about the Georgia Swarm once we get to that. Hopefully we start seeing maybe on the injury report or maybe on their Twitter who's going to sit and who doesn't and who plays, because I'm really curious going into this one. Did we really see when the Bandits went 14-4 a couple years in a row, did we really see them ever sit players? I mean, they locked up the 1 seed a couple times. So
no, actually they haven't.
Do you really expect them to do it? I don't know. We're going to cross that bridge when we get there. But, hey, Tony, big win. Let's shout out the sponsors real quick.
Sure can. Banditland Boulevard is brought to you by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, I'm telling you, Banditland Boulevard wants you guys to go and check out their food. Amazing service. I guarantee you will be treated like family. Trevor Hauer, myself, Tony LaMonica, a.k.a. Boxhead 98 TL, with our special guest today, Dan Dudziak, coming in on the show. We'd also like to thank Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next vacation for a cruise or any kind of type of trip that you guys want, please contact Suzanne Pike at SuzannePike@Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. Also, we'd like to thank those who are watching us here live on YouTube. This is StreamYard.com. Give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell that we talk nothing but Buffalo Bandits lacrosse for your sport needs. And also, we'd like to thank those who listen in on our tablet, the phone, you name it, every device known to man on Spotify. Give us that 5-star rating. Like this show. Comment if you will. Ask us if you want to be on. We will be more than happy to let you guys join. Guys, we just talk about the boys in orange and black. What can I say?
Yep.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. The Bandits also had a special win for someone else in the house.
Yes, they sure did.
Dan? We got our celebratory drinks here.
Danny, you want to go ahead and say it, or would you like me to?
You do you, and I'll follow you up. How's that?
Sounds good to me. Folks, if you didn't know, Banditland has lost one of its family not too long ago. And to commemorate for this gentleman who has touched a lot of people's hearts with his joy, his laughter, his high spirits, and just his smile that could say it all. This is for you, Eric Karnath. May you rest in peace. We love you. We'll miss you until we see each other again. But guys, salute. Cheers to the man, Eric Karnath.
Cheers. Just so we know, if he was around, he would have done this. So excuse me for 1 minute.
Yes, you may.
Yes.
Shout out of the championship cup. I love it. Also, we'd like to thank another shout out to the fan of the year of 2025, Herb, #Avar Guth. You, congratulations. You definitely deserve it. Bravo, sir, because of what you have done for this Buffalo lacrosse community, that you have gotten these guys together for their get-togethers to play lacrosse, just to have shits and kicks. Keep on doing what you're doing, brother. We love you. We thank you very much for your love and support for the team and to those who love the sport of lacrosse. We cannot congratulate you enough. Congratulations. You have earned it. You say you don't deserve it, but you damn sure do. Congratulations,
and the gratitude of dedication to shutting down the casuals in the Bandits Mafia Facebook group that say,
yes, thank you.
After every time
thank you.
A fucking goal. Every
time
I'm
going to drink to that too.
Right? Every time Vince gives up a goal, I see somebody posting in Bandits Mafia, retire.
That's good shit.
Herb is the first one to say, you shouldn't say that because, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. And
that is true.
He knows the goat. So
that plus step in net and see if you give up 20 goals.
Yes.
Right.
You guys could be a better goaltender. Get the gear on and go in there. Let's see what you can do.
Right. Go up and face against.
I know I'd die. I know I'd die.
Go up and face against Eli McLaughlin or Ryan Benesh or Chris Kluche. Try to face against one of those great sidearm shots.
Or Josh Burns' shot, Chase's shot. They got speedy.
Right. Oh,
no, thank you.
Yep.
Right. Hey, we're on to bigger and better things, guys. And also, with the loss of our friend, the Bandits have that much more to play for as well. They got a three-peat now. I mean, this is the championship that they got to win now in honor of him. So they got a lot more to play for. The 1 seed is locked up. We checked off a lot of different steps here. I mean, it was make the playoffs, did that. Clinch a home quarterfinals matchup, they did that. Clinch the 1 seed, they did that. What's next? Take it game by game in the playoffs. Do we expect a 5-0 playoffs like we did last year? I think that was unique in itself. Hopefully we can see that, but just got to take it a game at a time. It's essentially a scrimmage coming up this week against the Georgia Swarm. Stay hot, stay loose, get ready for the playoffs. Let's take home this 3rd title. Let's go, boys.
Bingo.
Let's do it.
Love to hear it.
So we're going to run this thing. The Bandits are going to keep doing their thing. After every single episode of every single Banditland Boulevard, whether we win by 3, lose by 3, win every single championship and three-peat, we say these 3 words. What are those 3 words, Tony?
Here we go, boys. In honor for Eric, in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits. Let's go, bud. We love you, buddy. We love you.
Guys, absolutely love you guys. One last thing. We say let's go Bandits for whatever reason. He liked flip-flopping it. So I'm going to say Bandits in honor of
Bandits.
Bandits. I love it. Yes.
Don't know why. Yes. Don't ask me why. He did it for 10 years. Couldn't tell you why, but I will always say it that way from here on out. So
rest in peace, my friend.
Love you, boys.
Cheers, brother. Love you, Eric.
Bandits.
Go Bandits.